Welcome to all of you in this lecture, class 9th, chapter 2nd, force and laws of motion. In this chapter, we have discussed so many things so far, and all the videos are uploaded in the YouTube. You can go through them. And in this lecture, we will discuss about Newton's second law of motion. Okay, so here we will discuss about Newton's second law of motion. Okay, first law of motion we have discussed earlier on, and inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction, all the things. And in the previous lecture we have discussed about momentum. So what was the momentum? Before starting Newton's law of motion, second law of motion, we have discussed in the previous lecture that momentum is denoted by P, and momentum of an object is the product of mass and velocity of the object, and momentum is a vector quantity. It is the product of mass and velocity of a moving object, okay, or of, we can say, of an object. Suppose if the object is at rest position, then its velocity will be 0, so its momentum will be 0. Okay, so if an object is at rest position, its momentum will be 0, no momentum. And the unit of momentum is the unit of mass multiplied by the unit of velocity. So the unit of momentum is kg meter per second. Okay, so now in this lecture, second law of motion, actually what will be there in second law of motion? Suppose, let us suppose that an object, suppose this is an object, and this object, suppose this is a ball, we can say, or any object, suppose at rest, suppose it is at rest position means initial velocity of the object is 0, okay, and suppose its mass is m, okay, and its, what will be its momentum? Suppose it is at rest, its momentum will be mass into velocity, so its momentum will be 0, no momentum. So momentum will be only for a moving object, its initial momentum is 0. Now we want to change its momentum. We want to change its momentum. So how its momentum will change? If it will be in the moving condition, it will move, then it will have certain velocity, and then it will have certain momentum. But how it can move? So for its moving, you know, by first law of motion, we should apply some external unbalanced force. Suppose if we will add some external unbalanced force F on it, then suppose this will move with a velocity, suppose final velocity v, okay, same ball, mass m, then its momentum will change. So now its final momentum will be P equal to m into v. So means for changing the momentum, initial momentum 0, we have to apply some certain external unbalanced force, okay. And suppose this is the condition. Now suppose we consider that this object was initially in the moving condition. In the first case, I have taken here that object as what? At rest position. Now suppose the object was initially in the moving condition also. In that time, u will not be equal to 0. Then what will be its momentum? Then its initial momentum will be, suppose P1. So P1 equal to mass into velocity u, and if we apply this certain force, F, unbalanced force, then what will happen? It will be accelerated by a uniform acceleration, and it gains the final velocity v, and suppose in time t second, then what will be its final momentum? Final momentum is, suppose P2, its momentum will change now. If we will apply some external force on this object, then its velocity will change, and its momentum will also be changed here. So final momentum is mv. So we can say that for changing the momentum of an object in time t, we have to apply some certain external unbalanced force. Yes or no? So what is the Newton's second law of motion? Second law of motion is that the rate of change of momentum there will be change in momentum na. Actually what will be the change in momentum here? P2 minus P1, that is mv minus mu, final momentum minus initial momentum. And what will be the rate of change of momentum? If we will divide by time t, then that will be the rate of change of momentum of the object. And Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of linear momentum, this is linear momentum, the rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force applied on it. तो देखिए हम क्या कह रहे हैं यहाँ पर अभी तक, मान लीजिए कोई ऑब्जेक्ट एक बॉल ए है, इस पर कुछ फोर्स, ये मान लीजिए इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u से मूव कर रही थी, हमने इस पर एक एक्सटर्नल फोर्स F लगा दिया, तो क्या होगा, इसकी वेलोसिटी बढ़ जाएगी, वेलोसिटी बढ़ जाएगी तो इसका मोमेंटम भी चेंज हो जाएगा। इनिशियल मोमेंटम अगर m इंटू यू है तो फाइनल मोमेंटम क्या हो जाएगा, mv। सो चेंज इन मोमेंटम क्या हो जाएगा, mv माइनस mu। मीन्स यहाँ पर कहने का मतलब है मोमेंटम में चेंज हुआ कैसे, बाय द एक्सटर्नल अनबैलेंस फोर्स। तो अभी हम न्यूटन के सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन के लिए फॉर्मूला, फोर्स के लिए फॉर्मूला भी डिराइव करेंगे। तो व्हाट इज न्यूटन सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन? अगर मैं रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम की बात करूं, अगर मैं इसको टाइम से डिवाइड कर दूं, सो इट विल बी रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम। आपको ये उतारना नहीं है, अभी केवल समझना है, नोट्स में भी थोड़ी देर में लिखूंगा यहाँ पर। रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम विल बी mv माइनस mu अपॉन t। तो न्यूटन क्या कहते हैं, ये रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम जो होता है ऑब्जेक्ट का, mv माइनस mu अपॉन t, दिस इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू फोर्स, एक्सटर्नल फोर्स। यहां से हम फोर्स के लिए फॉर्मूला निकालेंगे। तो फोर्स क्या करता है, किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट के मोमेंटम में चेंज करता है। ओके, अगर मोमेंटम में चेंज हो रहा है तो फोर्स की वैल्यू आएगी, अगर मोमेंटम में चेंज नहीं होगा तो कोई फोर्स भी, कोई डेफिनेट वैल्यू नहीं होगी। एक्सटर्नल अनबैलेंस्ड फोर्स है, बैलेंस फोर्स हो सकता है तब अगर पोजीशन चेंज नहीं हो रही है, तो एक्सटर्नल अनबैलेंस फोर्स जो अप्लाइड होगा वो क्या होगा, चेंज इन मोमेंटम पर यूनिट टाइम। अगर हम टोटल टाइम से डिवाइड कर दें तो वही क्या होगा, हमारा फोर्स होगा। तो आप पहले लॉ को समझिए। तो न्यूटन का सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन कहता है रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट, ओके, रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ लीनियर मोमेंटम वी कैन से, बिकॉज दिस इन स्ट्रेट लाइन मोशन, रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ लीनियर मोमेंटम ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट इज कॉल्ड द, it is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force applied on that object. Okay, so now you have no need to write this one, आपको इसको लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है। अब मैं यहाँ पर न्यूटन सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन पहले लिख के आपको शो करूंगा, फिर हम फॉर्मूला ऑफ फोर्स के लिए पूरा डेरिवेशन फॉर्मूला डिराइव करेंगे। ओके, okay, now I have written here the statement of second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion, derivation of formula of force. We will also derive the formula of force. First statement is here, the second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force applied on that object. So what is the law? The rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force applied on that object. Change in momentum takes place in the direction of applied force, means the change in momentum will be in the direction of applied force. Okay, so second law of motion क्या कह रहा है, पहले आप मोशन के स्टेटमेंट को समझिए, फिर हम इसके लिए फॉर्मूला डिराइव कर लेंगे कि states that rate of change of momentum of an object directly proportional to external unbalanced force। मतलब किसी ऑब्जेक्ट का मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है, रेट मीन्स ऑलवेज डिवाइड बाय टाइम, चेंज इन मोमेंटम पर यूनिट टाइम, यानी कि यूनिट टाइम में कितना चेंज हो रहा है वो उसका एक्सटर्नल फोर्स होगा। यानी कि यूनिट टाइम में अगर किसी ऑब्जेक्ट का मोमेंटम अगर ज़्यादा चेंज हो रहा है तो ज़्यादा फोर्स होगा, अगर ऑब्जेक्ट का मोमेंटम, रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम कम है, धीरे से अगर चेंज हो रहा है तो फोर्स भी कम होगा। अब इसको मैं आपको एवरीडे लाइफ एग्जांपल से समझाता हूँ। देखिए, अगर एक बॉल मेरी ओर हल्के से आ रही है, हल्के से आ रही है, तो मैंने उसको हल्के से ऐसे कैच कर लिया, तो मैंने कम टाइम में उसका मोमेंटम क्या हुआ, चेंज हुआ। लेकिन हल्की बॉल थी तो उसका फाइनल मोमेंटम जो हुआ मैंने जीरो कर दिया, कि तो बॉल को रोक दिया, और इनिशियल मोमेंटम कुछ होगा, ठीक। तो बॉल हल्के से आ रही थी तो चेंज इन मोमेंटम कम होगा। तो फोर्स भी मेरे हाथ में कम लगेगा या मुझे कम फोर्स लगाना पड़ेगा। अगर कोई दूसरी बॉल अगर बैट्समैन के बैट से बहुत तेजी से बॉल या जो बॉलर है बहुत तेजी से बॉल को फेंके या कैच हमारी ओर कैच करने के लिए अगर बॉल तेजी से आएगी तो उसके मतलब उसकी वेलोसिटी ज़्यादा है, ज़्यादा वेलोसिटी से बॉल आ रही है और मैंने उसको एकदम से रोकना है, तो क्या होगा, उसको रोकने के लिए बॉल का मोमेंटम जीरो करना है, चेंज इन मोमेंटम। पहले बहुत ज़्यादा मोमेंटम था, तो इसके लिए मैं क्या करूँगा, अगर एकदम से अगर मैं ऐसे हाथ लगा दूंगा तो मेरा हाथ टूट भी सकता है। क्यों? ये तो बॉल का मोमेंटम चेंज होगा, लेकिन मैंने हाथ बिल्कुल ऐसे लगा दिया तो कम टाइम में चेंज हो जाएगा ना, कम टाइम में चेंज हो जाएगा तो फोर्स कम टाइम में ज़्यादा मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है तो फोर्स ज़्यादा। तो इसलिए आपने देखा होगा अक्सर विकेट कीपर या कोई भी क्या करते हैं, बॉल को कैच करते समय बॉल अगर तेज भी आ रही वो अपने हाथ को ऐसे पीछे खींचता है। हाथ को पीछे खींचने से क्या होगा कि मोमेंटम तो अभी भी चेंज हो ही रहा है, लेकिन हाथ पीछे खींचने से वो टाइम ज़्यादा लेता है उस मोमेंटम को रोकने के लिए। अगर मोमेंटम के लिए टाइम ज़्यादा होगा तो फोर्स क्या होगा, कम लगेगा। रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम, यानी कि अभी हम फॉर्मूला डिराइव करेंगे mv माइनस mu अपॉन t। दिस इज रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम, चेंज इन मोमेंटम mv माइनस mu अपॉन t। अगर टाइम ज्यादा लोगे मोमेंटम को चेंज करने के लिए तो फोर्स क्या होगा, फोर्स ये कहता है ना न्यूटन का सेकंड लॉ, चेंज इन मोमेंटम अपॉन टाइम। तो अगर टाइम ज्यादा लोगे तो फोर्स कम हो जाएगा, इसीलिए वो विकेट कीपर पीछे की ओर हाथ खींचता है बॉल को फास्ट बॉलर की बॉल को पकड़ने के लिए, ठीक है। और उसके ऐसे ही अगर टाइम कम होगा, अगर विकेट कीपर ऐसे पकड़ने लग जाए बॉल को कम टाइम में तो फोर्स बढ़ जाएगा, तो इंजरी भी हो सकती है। ओके, सो दिस इज द मेन, अगर चेंज इन मोमेंटम पर यूनिट टाइम या रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू फोर्स। अगर कम समय में ज्यादा मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है तो फोर्स भी ज्यादा, अगर कम समय में कम मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है या ज्यादा समय में कम मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है तो फोर्स कम। ओके, सो दिस इज द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ न्यूटन्स सेकंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन। Okay, you can take the screenshot for this one, then we will derive the formula. Okay, so now I explained you, but now we will derive the formula. Okay, so this was the statement. Now not completed Newton's second law of motion. For deriving the formula, we will make a figure here. Okay, by figure we will understand more. Suppose what we are taking. Suppose this is an object, or we can say any ball or any object it may be, not necessary to be a ball. Suppose this is an object having mass m, initially not at rest, and initially it is moving with an initial velocity u at t equal to 0. At t equal to 0 means जैसे ही हमने इसको देखना स्टार्ट किया तो एक इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u से मूव कर रहा है। ओके, and this is, and if we apply a certain external unbalanced force, this force is unbalanced force, you can write here external unbalanced force F, then what will happen? Suppose a football is moving, initially moving, and we kicked the football, हमने उस फुटबॉल को किक किया, एक एक्सटर्नल फोर्स लगाया, तो क्या होगा, उसकी वेलोसिटी बढ़ जाएगी, मास तो वही रहेगा, तो मोमेंटम भी चेंज हो जाएगा। तो वही हमें कह रहे हैं कि अगर हमने इस पर फोर्स लगाया तो कंडीशन क्या बनेगी, यही ऑब्जेक्ट, यही जो बॉल है हमारी, बॉल या फुटबॉल जो भी आप कहें या कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट मान के चलें, ये ऑब्जेक्ट वही m मास का ऑब्जेक्ट, सेम साइज का ऑब्जेक्ट आपको बनाना है, विल गेट अ फाइनल वेलोसिटी v। नाउ इट विल मूव विद अ फाइनल वेलोसिटी v, इसकी वेलोसिटी चेंज हो जाएगी एट टाइम इक्वल टू t सेकेंड, एट टाइम इक्वल टू t seconds it will move with a final velocity v. Okay, then we will derive the formula. Okay, so we can write the theory for it. I am writing the theory, then I will show it to you. Okay, we can write the theory by ourselves. How we can write, please see. Let us consider, what we are considering, an object of mass m, an object of mass m is initially moving with an initial velocity, u. Suppose object is moving with initial velocity u at t equal to 0 second. Okay, and it gains and if we apply an external unbalanced force on it, then it gains a final velocity. V in time t seconds. So we can write the theory. No need to learn this type of theory. We can write, let us consider an object of mass m is initially moving or was initially moving with an initial velocity u at t equal to 0 second. Then what happen? And if we apply an external unbalanced force F on it, then it gains a final velocity v in time t seconds. Okay. So now, what will be the initial momentum of object? Initial momentum of object. You can say initial momentum, suppose P1. I am denoting initial momentum. Momentum is denoted by P. Initial momentum I am denoting by P1. So momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Mass into velocity. P1 equal to m into u. This is initial momentum. What will be final momentum? After gaining the velocity under uniform acceleration, you can write it gains a final velocity v under uniform acceleration. In time t seconds, you can write under uniform acceleration. Okay. So initial momentum P1 equal to m into u. Final momentum of object. Suppose this is denoted by P2. So P2 will be equal to m into v. Okay. So what will be the change in momentum? Change in momentum of object. Change means final momentum minus initial momentum. So what is final momentum? P2 minus initial momentum P1, and that will be equal to P2 minus P1, and you can put the value of P2 minus P1 here, or you can write in the next line, change in momentum of object equal to final momentum mv minus P1 initial momentum mu, and this one is u. Okay. So change in momentum is mv minus mu. So you can take the screenshot till now, then we will solve further again. You can take a screenshot and you can note down. Okay. So now, please see here. This is the change in momentum of the object. Now we have to find rate of change of momentum. Rate of change in rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum of object. So what will be rate of change of momentum? Means change in momentum divided by time t. Means total time. Change in momentum upon time is known as rate of change of momentum. So it will be change in momentum mv minus mu divided by t. Okay. So now we will apply Newton's second law of motion. So second law of force by Newton second law. What is the statement? Second law of motion. I have discussed earlier in this lecture. Second law of motion, rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum directly proportional to external unbalanced force. External unbalanced force. This is the second law, Newton's second law. Rate of change of momentum directly proportional external unbalanced force. Or we can write in the reverse form also. External unbalanced force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. So I can write by this law, external unbalanced force F is directly proportional. In reverse form I am writing here. External force F is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum, means change in momentum mv minus mu upon t. This is by Newton's statement. Okay. So solve with this one, f directly proportional. I can take m common from here, and then what will be v minus u in the bracket upon t. So this will be there. Okay, so you can note down this one, m v minus u upon t. Okay, now you have to write this one. Now after this one, I am writing this line again here. F is directly proportional to m v minus u upon t. Okay, so by this formula you can check here. I am writing this one as f directly proportional to m. I can write v minus u upon t in one bracket. So what is v minus u upon t? You know very well. This is acceleration. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity of an object is acceleration. Since because a equal to v minus u upon t, so we can write in place of v minus u upon t a. So f directly proportional to m into a. Okay, so this one. So for removing the directly proportional sign, it means that f is not equal to m into a. F is not equal to m into a. F is directly proportional to m into a, mass into acceleration. We always apply such constant k. If we apply a constant k here, then f will be equal to km into a. And if m equal to 1, it's the constant k. How constant k is chosen? Selected f equal to 1, a 1 kg we can say, a equal to 1 meter per second square, and f equal to 1 Newton. You know, for unit of force is 1 Newton. Then unitary we have changed k equal to 1. If we will put m equal to 1, a equal to 1, f equal to 1. So what will be the value of k? The value of k will be 1. You can make this as a equation number, any equation, or no need to equation, and you can write f equal to km into a. So put the value of constant k is here 1. Okay, f equal to 1, m into a means constant k we have taken 1. So f equal to m into a. This is the formula for force. Now we have derived a proper formula for unbalanced force applied on any object, and we can see here the force is F equal to mass into acceleration of the object. So this is the main formula for the force for a form applied on an object. Okay, so here we can write the force equal to mass into acceleration. So we got a next formula. This is the formula for force. So we can say Newton's second law of motion. By Newton's second law of motion, the formula of force is obtained, but by the Newton's first law of motion, the definition of force was explained. Okay, and by second law of motion, the formula of force, that is F equal to m into a. So you can take the screenshot for this one. Okay, so you can take the screenshot for this one. Okay, so from here, one more thing I will explain to you. So what was the main formula? We got a new formula for force, means main formula F equal to m into a. Okay, we will solve so many numerical problems by this formula. Okay, so now one more thing, unit of force. Unit of force. So what will the unit of force by this formula? F equal to m into a. So that is equal to unit of force means unit of mass into unit of acceleration. So unit of mass is kg and unit of acceleration is meter per second square, you know. So unit of force is kg meter per second square. Remember always kilogram meter per second square, but we replace in SI unit of force, that is equal to Newton, on the name of the respected scientist, physicist Newton. Okay, so if we will write the unit of force on the name of Newton, then we will not write the first letter N as capital, because it is denoting the unit of force. Na? Here it is not denoting the Newton's name, here it is denoting the name, Newton's second law of motion. That's why N is capital here. If we will denote the unit of any physical quantity on the basis of any scientist, then we will write small n on the first letter of the that name should be small. Okay, or we can write, or capital N. The force, unit of force is Newton, or we can represent it by capital N. So we replace this kg meter per second square by Newton. So we can write 1 Newton equal to 1 kg meter per second square. 1 Newton equal to 1 kg meter per second square. Okay. Now I want to tell you in CGS system, this is in MKS system or SI system. In CGS system, please remember always the unit of force is dyne, dyne, unit of force is dyne. And what will be equal to 1 dyne? You can check F equal to m into a. In CGS system, unit of force, what is the unit of force in CGS? CGS means centimeter gram second. So in CGS we will take the mass as a gram, and acceleration in place of meter per second square in CGS system we will take centimeter per second square. So gram into centimeter per second square, this will be the unit of force in CGS system. And we replace this by dyne, we will call, or we say it dyne. So we can write 1 dyne equal to 1 gram centimeter per second square. Okay, and you can note down these points also. 1 dyne equal to 1 gram centimeter per second square. Okay, so now next stage we will convert the 1 Newton, value of 1 Newton in dyne. Okay, we will convert from, if we will convert from 1 kg meter per second square to gram centimeter per second square, then we will get the value of 1 Newton in terms of dyne. Okay, so you can take a screenshot for this one, and you have to note this one. Okay, so now the next one is, we can write relation between Newton and dyne, or we can say the value of relation between unit of force Newton and dyne. So relation between unit of force Newton and dyne means we can also say 1 Newton equal to how much dyne. This is the main thing. So we know in SI system 1 Newton equal to, I told you earlier on, 1 Newton equal to 1 kg meter per second square. And in CGS, I am writing here in CGS system separately, you can write here also, no problem. In CGS system, in SI system this is unit of force, in CGS system unit of force, and this is unit of force in SI system 1 Newton, and in CGS system unit of force dyne, and 1 dyne equal to 1 centimeter gram per second square. Is it clear? Is it or not? Okay. Now we have to convert the Newton into dyne. Okay. So 1 Newton equal to 1 kg meter per second square. Please listen, try to understand. If I will convert this kg meter per second square in terms of centimeter gram per second square, then it means that it will be converted in the form of dyne. Okay, so 1 Newton equal to, in place of 1 kg, convert this 1 kg into, okay, sorry, this is 1 gram centimeter per second square. Okay, if there will be any mistake, you can correct this one. Gram, first one in place of kg there will be gram, meter, centimeter per second square, gram per centimeter square. We will convert 1 kg into gram. So 1 kg equal to 1000 gram. Convert meter into centimeter. So meter into 100 meter per second square equal to 1 meter per second square into 1 centimeter per second square, means 100 in place of centimeter per second square, same in both the things. Means I converted 1 kg meter per second square in terms of gram centimeter per second square. In place of 1 kg, 1000 gram. In place of 1 meter, 100 centimeter. So 1 Newton equal to 1000. I can write 10 to the power 3. 100 I can write 10 to the power 2. And what is gram centimeter per second square? And 1 Newton equal to 10 to the power 3 and 10 to the power 2 will be 10 to the power 5. And in place of gram centimeter per second square, we can write dyne. So 1 Newton equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. So this is the relation between the unit of force, SI unit of force Newton, and CGS unit of force dyne. So 1 Newton equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. So you can take the screenshot for this one and you have to solve this one. Okay. So in today's lecture we have covered many important topic, Newton's second law of motion and formula of force, and then the unit of force in SI system and CGS system. So please try to understand each concept. Newtonian physics is related to our daily life, everyday life concept. Try to understand and enjoy this one. Okay, enjoy the physics. Okay, and that's all for today's lecture. Be regular in your studies. That's all. Okay, so thank you so much.